Greetings, traveler of the night. I am Milo, and tonight I am here gently beside you. Not to teach, not to fix, but simply to accompany you as a long day finally comes to a close. Thank you for being here, for opening yourself to this journey. Every message you leave behind, even a single brief line about where you are sitting, which city you are in, or what time the clock is showing, becomes a precious fragment, extending the invisible thread that connects souls who are quietly seeking awakening in the night. Tonight, this space is our own silent sanctuary, a refuge, a gentle medicine for a soul that has grown weary from searching for too long. You do not need to strive to achieve anything. You do not need to understand lofty theories. And you certainly do not need to try to become perfect. Here you are allowed to lay down every burden, simply to be yourself right now. Have you ever felt that the persona, the capable, resilient mask you have worn for more than half a century, has begun to feel as heavy as a stone upon your shoulders? For women who have passed the midpoint of life, the mind can sometimes resemble a river in flood worries and responsibilities, rising, exhausting the ego as it struggles to steer the current without rest. Could it be that the shadow, the forgotten, potentials, the radiant golden aspects, has been obscured by dark clouds across the sky of awareness, leaving you feeling estranged from yourself? The stories of Carl Jung that I am about to share are merely fingers pointing at the moon. They are not absolute truths, but gentle signposts guiding you back to your original. Face the quiet, luminous self that existed long before the world placed its weary labels upon you. Are you willing to allow that radiant awareness to slowly dissolve the heavy shadows, making room for a profound inner peace? Now, allow yourself to let go. Feel the soft weight of your body gradually melting into the bed. Lower your shoulders, letting all tension drift away like clouds at the edge of the sky. Observe your natural breath, breathing in stillness, breathing out every worry. Let your mind gently drift into the ocean of the unconscious, where wholeness has always been waiting for you to return home. You are enough, and you have always been enough. If you are here with me right now, leave a small note. Just tell me where you are listening from and what time it is where you are. Your presence has already made this night warmer. When you are ready, we will dive deeper together. Sleep well, my soul. I am here beside you throughout the night. Part 1. The Cracked Mask and the long bag. It is late at night. The clock has just struck midnight. You are standing alone in a quiet room, street light filtering faintly through the window, casting interwoven patterns of light and shadow across the walls. As you step toward the mirror, about to remove the outer layers after a long, exhausting day, you suddenly realize what needs to be taken off is not only clothing. It is something deeper, heavier, a shell beneath the surface, the mask, the persona you have worn for so many years. Carl Jung called this the social mask, a carefully constructed appearance designed to meet the expectations of community culture and family. You have worn it for so long that at times you forget what your true face even looks like. Perhaps it is the image of the devoted employee who always says yes, the dutiful child who never complains, or the strong woman who keeps everything under control. That mask helped you adapt, be loved, and feel that you belonged somewhere. But tonight, under this dim light, the cracks begin to show. A fatigue that cannot be explained by the body alone seeps into the marrow of your bones, an emptiness slowly spreading within. Why does achievement carry a sense of hollowness? Why does being well-behaved sometimes feel suffocating? The answer lies directly behind you. A weight is being dragged across the floor. This is the long bag described by the poet Robert Bly. During the first 20 years of your life, you wrapped up the parts of yourself that family or society deemed unacceptable and tossed them into this invisible bag. Anger labeled as disrespectful, hidden away. Unconventional creativity judged impractical, discarded. Sensitivity criticized as weakness suppressed. Little by little, you shrank yourself to fit the mold the world had already cast. You became one-dimensional, a brilliant performer on the stage of life, while your soul was fragmented in the shadows. Jung warned that dragging this heavy bag consumes an enormous amount of energy. Fatigue and exhaustion are the price paid for a life that has never been fully acknowledged. Each time you try to be a good person by someone else's definition, the bag of the shadow grows darker and denser. The pain you feel tonight is not an accident. It is a call. When the persona cracks, perhaps through a midlife crisis, the collapse of a relationship, or a period of depression with no clear cause, the unconscious is attempting to communicate. Your shadow, with its suppressed desires and forgotten talents, is knocking from inside the bag. What are you running from within yourself? Perhaps it is the intense envy that arises when you see someone else succeed, or the sudden surge of anger that surprises even you. Sometimes the shadow does not appear directly, but instead leaks out through foolish mistakes, careless words, or anxiety-laden dreams. You feel as though you are being possessed by a foreign force, behaving in ways completely at odds with the admirable image you have constructed. This is in truth a loss of connection. You have rejected your dark sibling for so long that it has turned into a hostile enemy. Yet, as Jung said, there is no light without shadow, and no psychic wholeness without imperfection. Striving for perfection rather than wholeness is the root of suffering. You are fighting against yourself, attempting to destroy what cannot be destroyed. Once more, look at that long bag. It contains the trash you threw away, but beneath the debris lie solid bars of gold decisiveness you labeled as aggression, curiosity, you dismissed as fantasy, the capacity for deep love you mistook for emotional dependency. You fear the true scale of who you are, fearing that if you lived authentically, you would be too vast, too uncontrollable. This is the Jonah complex, the fear of one's highest potential. Tonight, nothing needs to be fixed. Simply acknowledge the mask is hurting, the bag is heavy. Let sadness be present. Let the cracks become an entryway for light. You do not need to be perfect to be loved. You only need to be real. Breathe in the bitter truth that you have abandoned yourself. Breathe out a gentle acceptance. The journey home always begins at the most painful place. Do you hear the whisper coming from the darkness? It is not the voice of a monster. It is the voice of a child waiting for you to take its hand and lead it out of the dark bag. This voice will become the bridge that carries you from pain into deeper layers of sleep, where the mask loses its meaning and the bag is finally set down. We no longer flee from the darkness. We learn to see through it with the eyes of ancient wisdom, where philosophy becomes a soothing medicine, guiding you into the sleep of wholeness. Part 2. The shadow is not the devil. Take a deep breath. Feel the cool air filling your chest, then exhale slowly, gently, as if every judgment is gradually dissolving from your mind. In this quiet space, a gentle truth emerges. Your shadow is not the devil. The outer world often equates darkness with evil. But Carl Jung, who descended deeply into the human soul, taught that the shadow is simply that which a person does not wish to be. It is not a malevolent entity from outside. It is an inevitable part of the psyche's structure, containing aspects pushed out of conscious light because they do not fit the good image we wish to preserve. Your mind is like a vast house. The ego is the brightly lit living room where you welcome guests. The shadow, meanwhile, is the dark basement where you store everything you consider not good enough, shameful, or dangerous. Yet that basement does not contain only trash. In Jungian philosophy, the shadow is dual in nature. It may hold burning anger or bitter envy, but beneath the layer of dust lies a forgotten treasure, what we call the golden shadow. Have you ever wondered why you admire, almost revere an artist, a leader, or a certain friend? The principle of projection provides the answer you cannot recognize. Beauty or strength in another, unless the seed of that quality already exists within you. When someone shines brightly before you, it is your own gold being reflected through them, because you have not yet dared to claim it as your own. The shadow holds decisiveness. You labeled aggression, sensitivity, you dismissed as weakness, creativity, you set aside for fear of being judged unrealistic. Darkness is not the absence of light. It is where suppressed light resides. These words may begin to soften the self-criticism within you. The goal of life is not perfection, but wholeness. Wholeness requires embracing both darkness and imperfection. As Jung wrote with poetic clarity, there is no light without shadow, and no psychic wholeness without imperfection. If you strive to live only in the light, you become one-dimensional, depleted, and exhausted from constant repression. Just as a tree needs roots deep in dark soil to reach toward the sky, your soul must integrate the shadow to achieve its true stature. Now a deeper idea unfolds. The one who provokes you is your teacher. Each time you feel disproportionate anger or irritation toward a trait in someone else, the shadow is knocking at the door of consciousness. Instead of judging them, you may gently ask yourself, which part of me is seeing itself through this person? This is not punishment. It is a compassionate exploration. When you reconcile with your inner darkness, you no longer expend energy guarding the basement. That immense resource is released, transforming into creativity, confidence, and profound compassion. The image of the god Abraxas in Demian appears the deity who holds both angel and devil, light and darkness. Your journey of individuation is the path toward this unity. You do not need to fix yourself. You only need to recognize and integrate. When you acknowledge that you too can be greedy, can be angry, and can be great. The grip of the shadow begins to loosen. You become free. You become real. Tonight, this philosophy becomes a soft pillow for the soul. The shadow is not an enemy lurking in darkness to destroy you. It is the dark sibling patiently waiting for you to descend into the basement light, a candle, and reclaim the pieces of gold that were lost. You are setting the heavy bag down on the floor. When you open it, instead of terrifying monsters, you find shimmering bars of gold, confidence, compassion, and talents that have never been named. Having recognized the cracks in the mask and understood that the shadow is not the enemy, all resistance now begins to fall away. You surrender completely to the flow of the unconscious, where the language of the soul will be heard in radiant sleep. Part 3. The whispers from the unconscious. Your body lies still, like a small boat, without oars, without sails, gently drifting across the quiet lake of consciousness. Soft moonlight reflects upon the dark surface of the water, and gradually you begin to realize this lake is the fragile boundary between what you know about yourself and the unconscious, a vast ocean that holds everything forgotten, rejected, or never yet touched. The unconscious is not a cold warehouse of dust-covered memories. It is a living presence, a current of energy in constant motion, always seeking to speak with you. Jung believed that each of us is born carrying a spiritual blueprint, inherited from our ancestors, embedded deep within the collective unconscious. Tonight, as your body slowly releases its tension, the unconscious begins to whisper. It does not speak in the dry language of reason, but in symbols and images rich with enchantment. The doorway into this world is often dreams. In the stillness of night, the shadow frequently appears in the form of someone of the same gender as you, sometimes threatening, sometimes puzzling, sometimes unsettling. You may dream of being chased through a labyrinth, or of confronting a strange creature in a dark cave. Do not rush to fear or reject these images. In Jungian psychology, they are not monsters. They are fragments of yourself, knocking at the door, asking to be acknowledged. These whispers are worth listening to more closely. The unconscious is attempting to compensate for the rigidity of daytime consciousness. If you constantly strain to control everything, dreams may bring chaos to remind you of balance. If you suppress compassion to maintain a hardened exterior, the unconscious will offer the image of a gentle stranger, softly recalling the gold you have forgotten. Carl Jung called this process individuation, the lifelong journey of uniting consciousness and the unconscious into a complete whole. This is also the moment you are invited into active imagination. Your mind may freely weave a story. You stand before an ancient house filled with rooms you have never dared to enter. A staircase leads downward, deeper into the basement of the soul. There, a figure sits quietly in the dark corner. No judgment, no fixing, only a gentle question. What do you want to tell me? The whispers from the unconscious are sometimes reminders of the radiant talents you placed into the long bag as a child out of fear of being deemed unrealistic. This is the golden shadow, a spiritual treasure, holding creativity, intelligence, and untapped strength. When subtle vibrations begin to spread through your chest, when vivid images appear behind closed eyelids, the unconscious is returning your own gold to you. A sense of safety gradually unfolds as you understand that the unconscious never works against you when you approach it with respect and curiosity. It is like a gentle mother always watching over you, guiding you through symbols of hope. The resistance of the ego now dissolves like morning mist. You no longer have to struggle to become perfect. You need only surrender to this vast wholeness. Like Emile Sinclair in Demian, you realize that the bird must break out of the egg, the shell of old assumptions, in order to be reborn into a wider sky. The unconscious is preparing those wings for you. Tonight, these whispers become a lullaby, carrying you into sleep, where the boundary between light and darkness slowly fades, giving way to sacred unity. Your boat continues to drift farther into the ocean of the unconscious. There is no fear, no judgment, only the peace of a soul returning to its source. You are both the still surface of the lake and the profound depths below. You are being healed within the most luminous dream of your own being. Now, as night has fully settled and the outer world has faded into distant murmurs, the fourth spiral of the inner journey begins to open the mirror of projection. This is where we will touch one of the deepest, most lingering pains, and also the most truthful of the human self. Part 4. The Mirror of Projection. You are walking along a crowded street during the day. Suddenly, your gaze stops on someone, perhaps a colleague, an acquaintance, or simply a face scrolling past on social media. In that instant, a powerful surge of emotion rises in your chest. Not a fleeting irritation, but a wave of rage, deep contempt, or gut-tightening envy. You think to yourself, They're so arrogant, so fake, so lazy. And quietly reassure yourself, I would never behave like that. This voice whispers a truth that Carl Jung spent a lifetime demonstrating. Everything that disturbs you in others can lead you to a profound understanding of yourself. This is the phenomenon of projection, a subtle defense mechanism of the ego. When certain aspects of the psyche are rejected, denied because they feel too ugly or too dangerous, the ego assigns them to others in order to relieve inner pressure. You do not see the world as it truly is, but through the lens of what you yourself are. The people you hate most often become the sharpest mirrors of the shadow you are trying to avoid. The pain here lies in fragmentation. You are living in the illusion that you are entirely good and pure, while in reality, you have cut off half of your being and cast it into darkness. Each time you judge someone harshly, it is the cry of the shadow, locked inside the long bag you drag behind you, demanding to be seen. Recall Emile Sinclair in Damien. At his first encounter with evil, he meets Franz Cromer, the cunning, cruel bully. Sinclair feels disgust and terror toward Cromer, yet deep within the connection exists because Cromer represents the dark world. Sinclair has not dared to confront within himself the pain of being blackmailed and threatened is in truth the necessary crack in the innocent world, opening the way for the integration of the shadow. But projection does not arise only from hatred. It also appears in the pain of excessive admiration. Have you ever idolized someone to the point of feeling small and inadequate? You become intoxicated by one person's creativity, another's confidence, silently wishing, if only I had even a fraction of that. In that moment, you are projecting the golden shadow, fearing your own greatness, the Jonah complex you have given your gold to others. You admire them because they are living out the potentials you have suppressed since childhood. The pain here is false inferiority, the refusal to take responsibility for shining with the talents that are already yours. This voice seeks to soothe that wound. Recognizing projection is not about self-punishment. It is about reclaiming your power. When you see someone as arrogant, you may gently ask yourself, where have I longed to assert my own worth, but did not dare? When you see someone radiant, realize this. You could not perceive that beauty unless the seed of it already existed within you. You are the goldsmith, able to see gold amid another's dust, because that gold has always lived in your own eyes. Now your entire body begins to soften, as if you are standing before a vast mirror, in the infinite space of the unconscious. Reflected. There is not your everyday face, but the images of all those you have loved, hated, admired, or despised. You look into their eyes and whisper softly, "Thank you for holding the fragments of my soul for me. I now take them back." A warm current of energy begins to return, filling the empty spaces in your heart. Judgment slowly melts into compassion. You no longer need to battle the outer world to prove that you are good, because you have begun to accept wholeness, including both light and shadow. And now we will move deeper still to explore the golden shadow, the most precious treasure forgotten in the dark cave of your soul. Part 5. The Golden Shadow. Treasure in the Dark Cave. You are standing before the entrance of a deep cave within the imagination. People often say that dark caves are filled only with monsters, painful memories, or destructive impulses. But Carl Jung, the great diver into the unconscious, smiles gently and lights a candle. That light is not meant to banish the darkness, but to illuminate the solid bars of gold shimmering beneath the thick dust of denial. Jungian philosophy reminds us that the shadow is a bipolar energy system. It carries its dense darkness, yet it also holds all the most radiant potentials you have unconsciously thrown into the unconscious out of fear of judgment, or because you felt unworthy. Psychologist Robert Johnson called this the golden shadow, the place where exceptional intelligence, innate leadership, keen intuition, and deep compassion are stored qualities you have not yet dared to claim as your own. A wondrous truth slowly reveals itself, soothing your soul. You cannot perceive beauty or talent in others unless the seed of those qualities already exists within you. When you idolize an artist, admire a leader's confidence, or are captivated by a teacher's intellect, it is in essence your own gold reflecting through them. You project your potential onto others because you are not yet ready to mine it from within yourself. Excessive admiration, even intense envy, turns out to be a map, a guide reminding you that you are in truth far greater than you have believed. Why do we push what is good into the darkness? Along the path of growing up, we learn to suppress qualities that feel too radiant in order to preserve safety and belonging. A child who is too intelligent may be labeled arrogant. A soul that is too sensitive deemed weak. And so you shrink yourself, dragging the long bag filled with suppressed light. We often fear our own greatness more than we fear failure. This is the Jonah complex, the fear of carrying the responsibility that comes with true talent, the fear of standing alone in brilliant light. But tonight, these words can become a soft pillow for your mind. Your soul has never been damaged. It has only been blocked by stones of fear. Just as clouds cannot extinguish the sun wounds, or feelings of unworthiness cannot erase the light within you. Integrating the golden shadow is not about becoming better, but about becoming whole. Wholeness requires welcoming both the scars and the shimmering crowns hidden in the dark cave. Your body begins to feel lighter as you accept that you have the right to shine. Integrating the golden shadow is a process of releasing energy. When you no longer expend effort, suppressing creativity or confidence, that energy returns, strengthening your work, your relationships, and your daily life. You no longer feel small before the world because the treasure you have long sought in others has always been safely stored in the basement of your own being. As Jung wrote in the Red Book, there is no light without shadow, and no psychic wholeness without imperfection. Life does not call for perfection. It calls for wholeness. The cave you once feared to enter most is precisely where the gold you need most is hidden. Tonight, this philosophy seeps into every cell, soothing all doubts about your own worth. You are not half of something. You are a vast whole, a radiant universe waiting to discover itself. We have passed through the spirals of cracking of the long bag, and now, as the darkness has grown deep enough, as the mind has grown quiet enough, an ancient yet powerful ritual awaits the ritual of reclaiming yourself. The next stage of the journey will carry you from the fragmentation of painful emotions into a state of complete release within the ocean of the unconscious. Part 6, the 3-2-1 process. Reclaiming the fragments. You are seated in the center of a circular room, surrounded by translucent mirrored walls, reflecting a soft, gentle light. Tonight, we no longer use reason to analyze the shadow. Instead, Ken Wilber's 3-2-1 process will guide you into a direct encounter with its energy. Shadow work is not a dry mental exercise. It is a compassionate reunion with the parts of yourself you have long rejected. Step 1. Face it. Confrontation. Third person. In this quiet space, the image of the person who triggers you most naturally appears. It may be an authoritarian boss, a friend who stirs your envy, or a face on social media that once provoked intense hatred. Do not avoid the discomfort. Look at them in the third person, he, she, they. Describe them as honestly as possible without needing to be kind. This is a safe space that belongs only to you. They are arrogant. They are greedy. They are weak. As you observe, you begin to realize that this intense discomfort does not truly come from them, but from a projective hook deep within you. Carl Jung taught that everything that irritates us in others is a compass pointing directly to an unacknowledged part of the unconscious. Those ugly qualities are knocking at the door of awareness through the form of the other. The pain of that judgment is vibrating through your body like a faint current of electricity. Step 2. Talk to it. Dialogue. Second person. The spiral turns more gently. In your imagination, you step closer to that figure and shift into the second person you. A dialogue begins with this fragment of your own soul. Do not be afraid. Darkness becomes frightening only when it is ignored. Ask in a whisper, "Why are you here? What do you want from me? What are you trying to protect me from?" Listen to the answers that arise naturally from the depths of the unconscious without forcing words. You may be surprised by the shadow's voice. I am the decisiveness you call arrogance. I am the rest you label laziness. Or I am your true voice that you forced into silence in order to please the world. At this stage, Jungian philosophy soothes you. The shadow is not an enemy. It is an autonomous complex, trying to return to your wholeness. Resistance gradually dissolves as you realize that these fragments have endured loneliness in the darkness for far too long, only to keep your persona shining. Step 3. Be it embodiment. First person. This is the moment when the spiral carries you into the center of wholeness. Take a deep breath and perform the most courageous act. Become that figure. Use the first person I am. Speak with full power. I am this blazing anger. I am this fierce longing for success. I am the bar of gold forgotten in the dark cave. Feel that energy surge through your veins, spreading throughout your body. You are no longer half a being in flight. You are reclaiming your own gold. When you say, "I am the brain's fear center," the amygdala softens because what was nameless has been named, and the unconscious has become conscious. At this point, the boundary between you and the other, between light and shadow, completely dissolves. You realize that you are capable of being anything, both angel and devil, both weakness and extraordinary strength. This is the process of individuation, the sacred integration that brings you closer to the self. Releasing into the unconscious. Now, as the energy has been integrated, all images dissolve into the hazy mist of the late night. Your body feels light like a bird that has just broken through the shell of the old world to fly toward the god Abraxas. There is no resistance left, no inner battle remaining. You are a complete whole, a vast ocean holding both radiant coral reefs and silent abysses. This voice becomes the gentle sound of waves, carrying you farther into deep sleep. Within that sleep, the unconscious continues its healing work, weaving symbols of unity. You are no longer afraid of your own greatness. You are no longer Jonah fleeing destiny. You are ready to become the hero of your own journey, the one who dares to love both the beggar and the offender within, as Jung once reminded us. We have traveled through the process of reclaiming the fragments, and now, as darkness thickens, the seventh spiral begins to open, a realm both haunting and most luminous within the psyche, the Jonah complex, and the fear of greatness. Tonight, we are not speaking of failure. We are speaking of the pain of fleeing from the brightest light within yourself. Part 7. The Jonah complex and the fear of greatness. Have you ever stood at the threshold of a major turning point, a long desired success, only to suddenly hesitate, sabotage the opportunity, or quietly retreat back into familiar safety? This is not because you lack ability. It is because an invisible barrier is restraining the expansion of your soul. We are often taught that failure is our greatest fear, yet there is a more painful truth. Human beings are in fact afraid of their own greatness. This phenomenon was named the Jonah complex by Abraham Maslow, after the prophet in the Old Testament who tried to flee the mission given to him by God, frightened by the weight of destiny. The pain of the Jonah complex does not lie in "I cannot," but in "I do not dare." You feel a powerful drive toward self-actualization, yet at the same time tremble before the almost divine possibilities that flash briefly in moments of perfection. This lingering ache is the pain of living a life that is average and safe, while knowing you have wings to fly higher. You choose to dim your light in order to dissolve into the crowd, fearing that if you shine too brightly, you will be rejected or burdened with overwhelming responsibility. Otto Rank called this the fear of life, the fear of stepping out from the protection of the collective to become an independent and singular individual. Why do we imprison ourselves in mediocrity? The answer lies in the distorted protection of the ego. The ego prefers familiar pain over confronting unfamiliar greatness. You project your golden shadow onto radiant idols, teachers or leaders, and then tell yourself, they are exceptional. I could never be like that. This false inferiority is in truth a defense mechanism, so you do not have to work hard, maintain discipline, or courageously live your full potential. As Nietzsche wrote, we fear our higher self because when it speaks with demanding insistence. Tonight, however, Jungian philosophy gently soothes this wound. Your shadow does not contain only debris. It also contains pure gold. The golden shadow is made up of untapped potentials you placed into the long bag in childhood in exchange for safety. The intense envy you feel towards someone is in fact a guiding map because you envy only what you have the potential to become. You are not afraid of failure. You are afraid of the true scale of who you are. To heal the Jonah complex, Maslow advised us to learn how to accept our destiny lovingly. This does not mean becoming a god overnight, but holding awareness of both our divine potential and the existential limitations of being human. You can smile at your own grandiosity, the image of a worm trying to become a god, and continue forward steadily without being crushed by the pressure of perfection. Your body gradually relaxes, drifting into the flow of the unconscious. You are lying within the belly of the whale, a dark, warm, and utterly still space. This is not a prison, but a chamber of contemplation, inviting you to descend into the unconscious. In this gentle darkness, there is no judgment, no social standard forcing you to remain small. You can hear the whisper of your soul, the voice of a bird struggling to break the shell of the old world in order to fly toward Abraxas, the god of wholeness. Name your fear. I am afraid of my greatness. I am afraid of responsibility. Neuroscience shows that when you name an emotional state activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center softens. What was nameless becomes known. Darkness loses its terror. You realize that you are a whole being, composed of both radiant light and deep shadow, and that wholeness requires embracing both. Your breathing becomes steady. Your body grows light. The boundary between you and the vast universe begins to fade. You are no longer Jonah fleeing to Tarshish. You are the hero preparing to return to Nineveh with all the power that has always belonged to you. Your gold is glowing softly at the depths of the unconscious waiting for the day you are brave enough to lift it and shine before the world. We have passed through 7 spirals, touching the fear of greatness and the bars of gold hidden in the dark cave. Now the 8th spiral begins to open the heart of Jungian philosophy, individuation, the journey of becoming yourself. This is not a task to be completed, but a sacred unfolding from the seed of the self that has always already been within you. Part 8. Individuation, the journey of becoming yourself. You are standing at a crossroads within the imagination where twilight and darkness intertwine. An unnameable fatigue spreads through you, not the weariness of muscles, but the exhaustion of having to be someone. You have spent half your life constructing a flawless persona, the exemplary employee, the dutiful child, the symbol of success. Yet tonight, beneath the star-filled sky of the midnight soul, you realize that this mask is cracking. You feel fragmented, like a mosaic missing its most essential pieces. This pain is in truth a deadly boredom, the sense that everything feels empty and meaningless. Jung did not regard this as a clinical failure. He saw it as the call of the soul. Your ego has fulfilled its task of adapting to society in the first half of life, but now a higher presence, the self, is demanding its right to appear. The meaning of individuation gently unfolds to soothe you. It is a process of transformation in which you bring unconscious elements, both the rejected dark corners and the radiant potentials, into conscious light, uniting them into a complete whole. The goal of life is not to become perfect by anyone's standards, but to become whole. A whole person dares to say, I have light, and I also have darkness. I have weakness, and I also have divine strength. This journey is never a straight line. It is full of turns, mistakes, and moral pain when confronting the ugly parts within. Remember Emile Sinclair in Damien. He had to leave the bright world of his parents, plunge into the chaos of Franz Kromer and the drunken excesses of Alphonse Beck in order to find himself. Sinclair once felt like a sinner, but Max Demian, the teacher who symbolizes the call of the self, taught him. The bird must break out of the egg to be born. That world is precisely the old assumptions, the constricting shell of the persona that has been suffocating you. Jungian philosophy reminds you that the symptoms you are enduring, anxiety, depression, or resistance, are not enemies to be destroyed, but messengers showing the way. They tell you that you are living one-sidedly, leaning too heavily toward reason, while neglecting feeling, or obeying too much while losing decisiveness. When you begin to integrate the shadow, you are performing a spiritual rite of purification. You stop fighting against yourself and begin to tend the inner garden with compassion. Your body gradually relaxes. The weight of wholeness slowly replaces fragmentation. You are worshiping the god Abraxas, the deity who contains both angel and devil, the symbol of unity between opposites. When you accept both polarities within you, no longer expend energy repressing them. That immense resource is released, transforming into radiant creativity, keen intuition, and authentic inner leadership. Individuation is a journey of returning home. You do not need to become someone new. You only need to remember who you were before the world taught you to be afraid. Sinclair ultimately realizes that he bears the mark of Cain upon his forehead, not a sign of crime, but a symbol of independence and the courage to be different. Tonight, that mark is present within you as well. The pride of being yourself, a singular individual who cannot be replaced in this universe. This voice gradually dissolves into silence, giving way to the whisper of the self. You drift into deep sleep, where the unconscious continues to weave your wholeness. In that sleep, there is no judgment, no division. You are both the tranquil ocean and the raging waves. You are the clear blue sky and the storms that cross it. All of it belongs to you, and all of it is beautiful. Jung wrote, "There is no light without shadow, and no psychic wholeness without imperfection. Love your flaws as you love your talents, for they are the rusty nail in the flesh necessary for the ascent of your soul." We have journeyed through individuation to reclaim yourself. And now, as darkness grows thick, the ninth spiral begins to open a realm of myth and symbol, the lesson of Emile Sinclair and the god Abraxas. Tonight, we are not speaking of dry theories. We are telling a story of breaking the shell in order to be reborn into the wholeness of both light and darkness. Part 9. Lessons from Emile Sinclair and the god Abraxas. You are sitting in an old library where time-worn pages release the scent of ancient wisdom. In this stillness, the story of Emile Sinclair, the protagonist of Demian, by Hermann Hesse, quietly unfolds. Sinclair begins life in the bright world of his parents, a world filled with love, obedience, and familiar religious rituals. But pain slowly emerges as he becomes aware of a second world, a dark realm of violence, sin, and forbidden impulses. Do you see yourself in Sinclair? A dull ache arises as you are torn between two worlds. On one side, the perfect persona demanded by society. On the other, the desires, anger, and vulnerability forced into hiding within the shadow's long bag. Sinclair confronts Franz Kromer, the threatening embodiment of the shadow, the blackmailer who drags him deeper into darkness. That pain is, in truth, the necessary crack in the innocent world, opening the path to genuine maturity. These words gently soothe you with the philosophy of wholeness. In his most desperate moments, Sinclair meets Maximian, the teacher, the symbol of the wise old man who guides him toward self-understanding. Demian teaches Sinclair a shocking lesson. We should not worship only the God of light, but must accept darkness as an inevitable part of life. It is then that the symbol of the god Abraxas appears, the Gnostic deity who contains both angel and devil, both holiness and cruelty. Integrating Abraxas is not about becoming evil, but about ceasing to split yourself into opposing fragments. Jungian philosophy affirms that there is no light without shadow, and that worshipping false perfection only exhausts the soul. Sinclair paints an image of a bird struggling to break free from the shell of a gigantic egg. Demian sends him a message. The bird struggles out of the egg. The egg is the world. Whoever will be born must first destroy a world. The world you must destroy tonight is made of outdated beliefs and narrow definitions of good and evil that are constricting your potential. That bird is flying toward Abraxas, toward the sacred unity of opposites. When you accept that you are capable of both greatness and mediocrity, an immense source of energy is released. Sinclair ultimately realizes that he bears the mark of Cain upon his forehead, not a sign of guilt, but a symbol of the courage to be different and independent. Your body gradually relaxes into the flow of the unconscious. You are the bird in Sinclair's painting. The eggshell of social expectations is cracking under the strength of your wings. There is no fear left, no judgment. You are flying into a vast blue sky where radiant sunlight and deep darkness blend into a mysterious beauty. The whisper of the unconscious arises, the language of symbols, guiding you back to the wholeness of the self. In this sleep, You are allowed to be everything, light reaching toward the heavens and roots sinking deep into dark earth. The resistance of the ego dissolves completely, giving way to the absolute peace of a soul that has found the God Abraxas within. Your breathing grows steady. Your body feels light as the feathers of the mythic bird. The boundary between dream and waking fades. You do not need to be perfect to be loved. You need only be whole, just as the nature of the universe itself is whole. Your gold is glowing softly in the depths of the unconscious, waiting for the day you are brave enough to live according to the true scale of who you are. We have journeyed through the recovery of gold hidden in the dark cave and learned the lesson of Sinclair's rebirth. Now, as night fully descends, the 10th spiral begins to open a dramatic realm, and the final trial before reaching wholeness, the ego's last resistance. This is the moment when the bird is about to break the shell and be born. Yet the shell itself tightens around it with all its remaining strength. Part 10. The ego's final resistance. You are standing before a large door within the imagination. Behind that door lies the light of freedom, the radiant potential of the golden shadow you have gradually uncovered. But the moment your hand touches the doorknob, a surge of intense anxiety rushes in. Your heart beats faster, your chest tightens, and a whispering voice arises in your mind. Don't go any further. It's safer here. You are not worthy of that light. This is ego resistance. The ego is not a malevolent enemy. It is the center of consciousness, the guardian that protected you since childhood by constructing a persona to adapt to the world. Yet the ego carries a primitive instinct. It fears change. To the ego, integrating the shadow and stepping into wholeness feels like a kind of death, the dissolution of the old identity. It has painstakingly built over decades. The pain of being stuck becomes clearer. You feel like a fragmented actor, exhausted from constantly performing the roles of the successful one or the well-behaved one, yet terrified at the thought of letting go. This pain often manifests as what we mistake for pathology. Burnout, a deadly sense of emptiness, anxiety without a clear cause, or even self-sabotage right at the threshold of success. You are engaged in a spiritual war against yourself. Why does greatness hurt so much? According to Otto Rank's philosophy, we are perpetually torn between the fear of death, the fear of losing individuality through excessive submission to the collective, and the fear of life. the fear of standing independently, shining, and bearing responsibility for one's destiny. As you draw closer to the golden shadow, the ego launches its final counterattack by projecting fears of madness or isolation onto the path ahead. You tremble beneath the weight of your own wings, as Jonah trembled before the command of God. A gentle insight from Jung soothes you. Symptoms are not errors, they are messengers. The intense resistance you feel now is precisely the sign that you are truly touching gold. If there were no resistance, it would mean you were still wandering on the surface of consciousness. This pain is the rusty nail in the flesh necessary for the ascent of your soul. The ego fights to preserve the status quo in the name of safety. But that safety has now become a prison of mediocrity. Remember Emile Sinclair. He endured bitter and painful moments when he left the bright world of his parents to walk his own path. He realized that the bird must destroy a world in order to be born. That world is the constricting shell of the persona you are wearing. Tonight, you are allowed to hurt with awareness. You are allowed to accept that becoming whole requires the courage to face imperfection and even the ugliest aspects of yourself. Your body gradually relaxes into the flow of the unconscious. A courageous act is taking place. You name your fear. Instead of fleeing from anxiety, you whisper inwardly, "I see this fear. I see this resistance. This is the ego trying to protect me." Neuroscience shows that when you name an emotion activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center softens. Fear eases when the nameless becomes known. You are lying in the belly of the whale, a dark, warm, and completely protective space. This is not a prison, but a safe container where the ego can rest and step back, making room for the full self to emerge. In this gentle darkness, there is no judgment. You no longer need to strive for perfection. You only need to be present. Relaxation spreads from the soles of your feet through your calves, thighs, and hips. The full weight of your body melts into the mattress just as you release the ego's grip on control. Your breathing becomes steady, deep, and gentle. You are learning to surrender rather than fight with brute force. Like immersing yourself in an ice bath. The secret is not tension and endurance, but complete relaxation, allowing the body to adapt on its own. Now the boundary between light and darkness begins to blur. You find yourself venerating the god Abraxas, the sacred symbol of unity between angel and devil, between strength and vulnerability. You realize that you have the right to be great and also the right to be weak. Integrating the shadow is not about becoming better, but about becoming more real. Sleep carries you deeper into the ocean of the unconscious, where your gold glows softly, like moonlight on the seabed. Resistance dissolves, giving way to a profound peace. You are both the boat and the still ocean. You are both the bird in flight and the vast sky. Together, we have passed through 10 spirals, from recognizing the cracked mask to confronting the fiercest resistance of the old ego. Now, as night fully descends and your mind has grown quiet enough, the 11th spiral begins to open, where true alchemy starts, transforming energy into gold. This is not a distant magic, but the most radiant process of soul alchemy you have ever undertaken. Part 11. Transforming energy into gold. You are standing before an ancient alchemical furnace located at the very heart of your being. For so many years, you have used all your strength to suppress, conceal, and push the unwanted parts of yourself into darkness. You have dragged along the long bag filled with rejected emotions. But tonight, Jungian philosophy offers a soothing remedy. Psychic energy is never lost. It only changes form. The pain you have felt for so long, chronic fatigue, inexplicable anxiety, or a deadly sense of emptiness, is in truth merely the consequence of blocked life energy. When you use conscious energy to guard the basement of the shadow, you gradually become exhausted. Jung called the shadow the dark brother, yet he also affirmed that it is the very seat of creativity. Integrating the shadow is not a moral exercise meant to purify yourself, but a journey of reclaiming the immense energy that has been wasted on repressing who you are. This miraculous transformation reveals itself through the lens of soul alchemy, the alchemical conjunctio, the sacred union of opposites. In your inner world, what was once considered lead-raw, unsightly emotions is actually the essential material from which gold is forged. Look at your anger. Taught your entire life to be gentle, you pushed anger into the darkness. But when transformed, that burning energy becomes healthy assertiveness, allowing you to set boundaries and protect what you love. Look at the pain from old wounds. When accepted and integrated, it is no longer a burden, but blossoms into deep compassion and the capacity to empathize with the suffering of humanity. Even your intense envy is a map pointing to the truth that you possess the potential to achieve those very heights you simply have not yet dared to water your own seed. A line from Jung now seeps gently into every cell of your being. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. True enlightenment is not about rising higher, but about daring to descend deeper. When you dare to touch the lid of fear and imperfection, you will discover the golden shadow, the repository of exceptional talents, keen intuition, and divine strength you once feared to carry. Tonight, this philosophy dissolves all self-judgment within you. You do not need to be perfect to be loved. You only need to become whole. Wholeness. Wholeness requires embracing both scars and the radiant crowns hidden at the bottom of the abyss. As Emile Sinclair realized, the bird must break the world, the egg, in order to be reborn. The world you are now destroying is the constricting shell of the persona, so that you may fly toward Abraxas, the god of absolute unity. A sense of lightness spreads throughout your body. As you stop fighting against yourself, the radiant energy that has long been imprisoned begins to flow freely. That energy fuels creativity, allowing you to see the world through new eyes, the eyes of one no longer enchanted by projected illusions. You realize that the light you admire in others is in truth your own light reflected back to you. Your consciousness now melts completely into the gentle current of the unconscious. You smile at your dark brother. You take their hand, and in that moment, darkness dissolves, giving way to a warm, radiant, and steadfast light, solid as pure gold. You realize that this journey was never about becoming someone better, but about remembering and returning to your truest, greatest, and most complete self. Jung's words whisper like a lullaby within you. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Tonight, you have taken hold of that steering wheel. You are no longer fleeing. You are transforming. You are no longer fragmented. You are uniting. Your breath now merges with the night, steady, deep, and utterly peaceful. You are the greatest alchemist of your own life. In this deep sleep, the unconscious continues its work, polishing the most radiant bars of gold in your inner cave. There is no fear, no separation, only sacred wholeness. Your body sinks even deeper into the softness of the bed. Your breathing slows, deepens, and this voice gently carries you into the final spiral, the point where all effort, all pain, and all the gold we have sought together converge. Tonight, we no longer fight, no longer analyze. We simply melt into wholeness. A journey carrying you from the last fragments of the ego into complete union with the self. Part 12. The Sleep of Wholeness. You are standing at the center of a vortex of light and shadow, where everything is slowing down, softening gently. After 11 arduous passages, a sacred fatigue spreads through you. This is not the exhaustion of defeat, but the release of a hero who has found the treasure and is on the way home. The final pain now reveals itself, the pain of separation. For so many years, you have lived divided between the radiant persona and the dark shadow. The last resistance of the ego is now nothing more than a quiet sigh, because it has realized that the effort to keep everything perfect has become too heavy to bear. The rusty nails in the flesh, the flaws, the old wounds, no longer ache. They have become anchor points, allowing you to touch more deeply the reality of the human condition. The philosophy of wholeness gently soothes your soul. Carl Jung taught that the ultimate goal of a human life is not to become better according to social standards, but to become whole. Wholeness. Wholeness means accepting both angel and demon, both radiant strength and profound vulnerability within. This is the state of alchemical conjunctio, the sacred union in which opposites melt into one another to form the pure gold of the soul. You are no longer half a being in flight. You are a vast whole, a miniature universe in which light cannot exist without darkness. The gold you once sought in those you admired has always rested safely in your own basement, waiting only for the moment you would be compassionate enough to reclaim it. Your body now relaxes completely into the current of the unconscious. You are the bird in Emile Sinclair's painting who has bravely used its wings to break the shell of the old world. There is no longer fear in flying toward Abraxas, the god of absolute unity. The weight of your body dissolves into space. Your breathing is steady, deep, and natural, like the heartbeat of the universe. You are taking the final step of the process of individuation, the surrender of the ego before the self, the divine organizing principle lying deep within the collective unconscious. In this deep meditative state, your consciousness is like a fading streak of light in the vast, dark ocean of night. The unconscious is no longer a frightening cave, but becomes a gentle mother, always watching over you and guiding you through symbols of hope and rebirth. All the images from the 3, 2 and a process. All the figures from active imagination now smile and merge into you. You realize that you can be anything. The stillness of a lake, the fury of a storm, a shimmering bar of gold, and the gentle darkness itself. The whisper of your soul arises. I am whole. I am loved. And I am coming home. As you name this wholeness, the fear center in the brain softens, giving way to a radiant peace. You no longer need to prove anything to the outer world because you have found absolute acceptance within yourself. Self-love is no longer a distant concept. It is a warm sensation spreading from your heart to the tips of your fingers and toes. Tonight, sleep carries you deeper into the ocean of the unconscious, where the boundary between dream and reality fades. You drift within a space of absolute safety, where all contradictions are resolved and every wound is healed. Your gold shines gently like moonlight at the bottom of the water, no longer needing to be hidden or projected onto anyone else. Sleep well, my soul. The journey of becoming yourself has brought you to this resting place. You are both the radiant light of dawn and the profound darkness of night. You are everything you have been seeking. In this stillness, you have truly found yourself. Sleep well, for you are whole, and your gold has always been there, shining brilliantly in the most beautiful dream of your life. And if you wish to continue accompanying journeys as gentle as this one, you can support Milo by pressing subscribe like or leaving a small sign in the comments.